It's the Business Cast.
Once again, from high atop the Business Cast Podcast Center, live and in the morning, I'm Robert Gold, Managing Partner of Bennett Gold LLP, Chartered Accountants in Toronto.
And I'm Andrew Brown, President of RightOnTheMoney.com.
Andrew, somebody said marketing is king. Today we have the President of the American Marketing Association Toronto Chapter, the President of Marketing Talent, Inc., Craig Lund is with us. Craig, welcome to the Business Cast.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, Andrew, what about that? Is marketing king these days?
Well, it always depends who you ask, but there are some things that always are business basics, and one strand that runs through it all is marketing. So I'm very excited about having Craig join us today.
So, Craig, there's a number of things that come to my mind, particularly because you're so heavily involved in marketing as the President of the American Marketing Association, the Toronto Chapter, as the President of Marketing Talent, Inc. What do you see are the three most in-demand marketing skills today that are being sought after?
Well, they're all kind of interrelated in a way, with the growth of digital being one of the vehicles where you're seeing a lot of activity in marketing with the channels of social media, mobile, that new slogan everyone's throwing around now called Solo-Mo. That means that they're looking for folks who can do it all. They want people who can write. They want people who have the technical abilities to work with these tools and to help them actually figure out which tools they're supposed to use. I saw an infographic the other day trying to explain all of the different social media tools there are, and you could barely even see the icons of the various ones just because there are so many, and every day there's a new one. So that's the biggest headache that marketers are trying to figure out, and when marketing CEOs are trying to hire those marketers, they want them to come with those answers.
Say a marketer has to have it all. If that's the case, those people that will be rising to the top are those ones who have demonstrated that, who have year over year or across industry managed to demonstrate that they have all the skills. Who do you see as today's most insightful marketing thought leaders?
It's kind of difficult to answer that question because there are so many different areas of marketing that get the spotlight. If you look at the Cannes Lions and see who's winning there, the Canada did pretty well. And the digital side of things, Diesel winning a Cannes Lion. And you've got areas like loyalty, for example, that are reinforced by all of the other channels of marketing. So social media. If you look at Starbucks, for example, their loyalty program is one of the top loyalty programs that's being recognized. We just talked about this at the AMA in February, and we had a conversation around loyalty and what it was that Starbucks was doing so well, and it was that they were integrating the whole initiative so well across all of their marketing platforms. In-store, how they talked about the experience that the customer can have, what the Gold member can enjoy and all those benefits, the application that they use to load up their card on their iPhone and have it scanned in store, and the drink orders are ready to go, and how many stars they've had and when they get their next free drink. Companies that are doing that really well. Starbucks, again, has got the top spot for that.
Who is the thought leader behind the Starbucks initiatives in Canada?
Well, the current VP of Marketing at Starbucks Canada is Sheila Murray, and she's been acting VP there now for over a year and a half. Like any global organizations, a lot of the direction comes from God, so to speak, the head office. And in that case, that's down in the States.
And in fact, I believe that we interviewed Matthew Geist, who was the Director of Global Loyalty, and I know he had some great insights on their loyalty program. So how do you see the area of marketing evolving over the next 3 to 5 years? You've talked about marketers have to have it all. You've talked about Starbucks and those companies that lead the way by having a very integrated approach to customers and clients' engagement. But how is marketing going to evolve over the next few years?
The reality is that a lot of the new tools that are being created for marketers, although there's so many of them, there's probably going to be some consolidation that's going to happen there, as always happens. And the market leaders will end up start demonstrating consistency, and there will be clear tools that marketers are going to start to flock towards. But the ability to actually run programs and measure them and show true ROI across a fully integrated platforms is what's going to be expected from the marketers of the future.
There appears to be that already in place. There are lots of big providers, lots of senior marketers who are called to task, and they have to have those skills right now. So looking forward, that's where we are today. What's coming up?
I think what you're saying is that those tools are in place, and they are, but there are so many of them. And there's this tool to manage your social media tools. There's this tool to measure out-of-home reach. There's this tool to see how many people hear your ad on the radio. Having a dashboard for everything in one spot to go to is what I'm talking about. Right now, it's extremely fragmented. And for the CMO study done by IBM reflects this. You've got this explosion of channels and devices that is really making it an extremely difficult task for the CMO to figure out what to do and where to go next. So I think that the consolidation of that space is really where we're going to see a lot of movement.
Craig, I want to take the evolution of marketing a little bit different than where Andrew's going for a second. And that is, if we go backwards a few years, most marketers may not have seen the social media revolution and tidal wave coming. Now, with your ear to the grindstone and with your eyes on the ball with the American Marketing Association, what is sneaking up that will surprise marketers in 3 to 5 years from now?
Well, it's back to basics. And this is, again, we had our CMO conference earlier on this year, and it was the reality that strategy is going to be back in the center of attention. And it's not just social or local or mobile. Those are merely channels. But how is your overall marketing campaign reflected across every channel that you utilize? Right now, it's difficult because, again, the CEO gets a whiff of some new exciting tool that he heard about on Forbes, and now he's calling the CMO and saying, we've got to get involved in this, yet there's very little information and whatnot, and it makes it incredibly difficult for the CMO to get anything done because he's being pulled left, right, and center by the board, by the CEO, by the CFO. Now the CFO saying, no, you can't spend that much money, you need to test it more, we need a case study behind it. The CEO saying he's focused on the success of the company and, of course, his own legacy, and wants these programs to roll out quickly. It's impossible when you're being pulled in so many directions.
Craig, I know that you wear several hats. One of them is being the president of marketing talent. So I'm curious about some of the misconceptions that companies or company leaders have when they're actually looking for the most senior marketing professionals to bring on board.
The common theme in our conversation today, expecting them to know it all, especially around digital. When you specifically look at senior marketing professionals and you look at the digital space, you're looking for someone as a VP to run your marketing organization, and they've got 20 years experience, and only the last 8 of that really has been digital. So they don't necessarily have the capabilities or understanding of how these tools work. But the best ones know how to identify that talent and bring them into their team, whether it's through a special vendor, their agency, or outsourcing it, offshoring it to India, and recognizing what your capabilities are.
So, Craig, are you saying that the biggest misconception is that companies are expecting too much from their CMO, or they're having them focus on the wrong thing? What is that misconception?
The misconception is that the word marketing itself sounds like such a simple word. How could it be so many different things? And most folks who are not marketers do not really know what is meant by marketing these days.
So, Craig, let's look at it from the senior marketer's perspective. We have many, many C-suite people of all varieties of disciplines within organizations listening to this podcast. If I was a senior marketer looking for my next opportunity, what would I look for in my next landing, my next company?
A lot of marketers are looking for a place that can really take their knowledge and let them have an impact on the organization, let them have a voice at the C-suite table. And oftentimes, in a lot of CFOs will tell you they're tired of hearing marketers griping about not having a true seat at the table, and that's because the CFOs have historically only seen marketing as a spending vehicle. That's changing now, and marketers want to start getting recognition for that, and they want to be a part of developing the vision and strategy and not being just told, here's what we want you to do, run with it. They want to actually know that they have impact and a voice.
Andrew, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Craig Lund. Craig is the president of Marketing Talent Inc., marketingtalentinc.com.
Are you getting what you really want from LinkedIn? Contact your Business Cast co-host Andrew Brown at andrew@businesscast.ca. Andrew can help you and your company execute a LinkedIn strategy that will strengthen your brand, increase sales, and build your network of powerful influencers.
Andrew, we're back with Craig. Craig is also the president of the American Marketing Association Toronto chapter. They can be found at ama-toronto.com. Craig, let's get a little bit into associations. We've got the American Marketing Association. We've got the Canadian Marketing Association. We've got the Location-Based Marketing Association. How do I decide between one of these if I was an entity I wanted to join one? What is the difference?
It's actually quite a fragmented space and kind of reflective of the marketing career space in general. The AMA in particular is an individual membership-based organization. That means that individual marketers are members of the organization as opposed to, if you look at the Canadian Marketing Association, it's actually corporations that are members of the association. The CMA has a more lobbyist point of view. They tend to look at things like the do not call list, the registry that they manage. They lobby with government on standards in marketing, and as opposed to looking at the actual career development, which they do as well, but it's not one of their primary focuses. The AMA itself, we are a volunteer-based organization. That means that the board is volunteer. We don't have anyone who is paid, and the individual can be involved. So that means that when we look at our topics, they tend to be 30,000 foot. What's happening in marketing today, right now? A lot more smaller, more segmented type. That we have our special interest groups, which service the financial services marketing groups that are pretty prevalent in the Toronto space, if you look at, for example, but have never really been serviced, as well as the digital marketing, multicultural marketing, and other spaces such as that.
Given that practical approach and that hands-on type of angle that the AMA takes, what does the AMA have coming up over the next little while that our listeners might want to participate in?
Our current program, which we've just gotten off the ground, which is part of Marketing Hall of Legends, which is our annual gala, which honors marketing legends in the Canadian landscape. This is a legacy initiative that pairs mid-level marketers with CMOs, presidents, and heads of marketing organizations. For example, we have folks on board such as Stacey Mowbray, who's the CEO of Second Cup, Chris Jordan, CEO of Young Rubicam, one of the Marketing Hall of Legends himself, Tony Chapman of Capital C, and these are one of a few of 50 top mentors that we have involved, and we've just finished recruiting for mentees and had overwhelming response. It's a fantastic one-year mentorship relationship with one of these marketers and marketing leaders. Pretty proud of us. Just heading into our third season of that program. The big gala, which I mentioned, Marketing Hall of Legends, is coming up in October, and we'll be inducting a few more legends to our roster, as well as marketing rising stars, marketing impact award winners, as we expand the categories for the Marketing Hall of Legends.
Well, we'll certainly look for that coming up in October, and the information for that is at ama-toronto.com. But Craig, I have a final question for you. A lot of the entrepreneurs, a lot of the business owners that Andrew and I speak to are in fact in startup mode. They're not established, they're in startup, or they have sold off an established venture, and now they're starting up once again. What are the 3 marketing-related tips or points that you would suggest these people must pay attention to?
That's a good question. I think that being really smart about where you spend your money, some of the traditional vehicles that most entrepreneurs who aren't marketers might try get engaged in or are easily swayed to get involved in by savvy ad sales guys are no longer very effective and are usually quite expensive modes of advertising or getting business. And, some of the most basic tools, networking is still by far one of the most effective ways of building your business. And with tools like LinkedIn and Facebook, it makes it a no-brainer to get involved and see a map of your whole network and know who to be talking to or who to ask for referrals and who to ask for business. The other area in advertising, if you did want to spend money on advertising, is search marketing. Search marketing on Google or LinkedIn is absolutely effective and a very, very low cost. Even if you wanted to explore search marketing on Facebook, although there's a lot of banter out there right now saying that Facebook is not as effective for generating actual monetary leads, from a cost perspective, spending $2,000 in Google AdWords or even Facebook advertising will give you actual business lead opportunities versus $2,000, which maybe give you, even if you go to a trade publication and a direct email marketing, is not going to give you nearly the amount of exposure or opportunities from that kind of a spend.
Great advice, great practical advice. Craig Lund, President, American Marketing Association, Toronto chapter, and the President of Marketing Talent Inc., marketingtalentinc.com. Craig, thanks for being a guest on the Business Cast.
Thank you.
Are you looking for new ways to grow your company? Contact your Business Cast co-host Robert Gold at roberts@businesscast.ca. His firm, Bennett Gold, was named as the accountants of choice for entrepreneurs by Toronto Life magazine. He knows what makes companies grow.